Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is qualifying from the Texas Motor Speedway. In Season 9 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, we are here at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas for the Turkey Hill Hot Seat qualifying session for the Interstate Batteries 500. Going to be a 67-lap race tomorrow at noon Eastern Time over on Napa Fan. But right now, we got to see who's going to be in the show. Got 8 drivers looking to qualify their way in. Top 2 fastest drivers will be qualifying, with the other 40 full-time drivers in racing in tomorrow's race. And these are the drivers who will be attempting to qualify here to make the Interstate Batteries 500. We got the 07 of Nick Smith, the 08 of Christian Vargas, the 21 of Josh King, who is the points leader currently in the Turkey Hill Series, Edwin Mendez in the 55, Mitchell Collins in the 57, John Andrews in the 67, Jordan Lopes in the 71, and Clark McKee in the 98. McKee and Mendez both attempting their first race of the season, as far as I know. So good luck to those guys here in this session. First driver out there, though, is Jordan Lopes, who has run a full season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series before. It was season number 6. It was his only full-time season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And as far as I know, he did not come with a race victory that year. So he's never won in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series before, but he has had success elsewhere. Of course, he won his first career Napa Fan start in the Thanksgiving 500 2016. And he had a solid run in the Turkey Hill Series at Homestead last week. Of course, Clark McKee ended up winning that race last week, which is why he is attempting to qualify here today. But let me tell you, this place is much different than the Homestead Miami Speedway. That inside lane is where you want to be, and this place is also faster. And it's also an original racetrack, our first original racetrack of the year. Of course, the Daytona that I use is a modified version of the original racetrack, but this is straight up the original Texas Motor Speedway. No I&I changes or anything like that, with the exception of the lap count. So it's cool to mix in a few of these original racetracks from time to time, because this is truly one of the best original racetracks that came with the game. The racing here is so unpredictable. You never know when these guys could wreck. We could be spread out throughout the entire field and still get a wreck just as easily as we would if we were bunched up 3 and 4 wide, which is something that I really like. I like that unpredictability when it comes to cautions, and pit strategy might also become a factor in this race. It's a 67-lap race. Gonna be a really long one here from Texas, and it's always one of my favorite races to do every year in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. It's gonna be a favorite for Jordan Lopes if he can make his way in here. Top of the board right now for the 71, 21 of Josh King, who is the points leader in the Turkey Hill Series right now, currently running second. Got the second fastest time there for Hamill Racing Enterprises. And Clark McKee just went to the top of the board under 27 seconds. I'm telling you, these guys go fast when they don't have... Oh, boy! Now, there's a bit of a disadvantage to going that fast. You rev the engine up enough, you're going to blow it. And that's what happened with the 21 of Josh King. And I don't think he's going to have enough time to get back out there to complete a lap. So King will not be in tomorrow's show, most likely. But as I was about to say... It's nice when you don't have the Empire State Building hanging off the back of your race car to slow you down, because these are the times we get when you have that low downforce. And Clark McKee under 27 seconds here at the Texas Motor Speedway, one of the fastest racetracks we go to on the circuit. And another guy just went below 27 seconds. He's second now. That's Nick Smith. Nick Smith has been doing a great job in this 07 so far this year. He's been in this 07 more than any other driver. Of course, the team for Velocity Racing only has 3 drivers. It's the way everything kind of worked out when organizing the teams for that. So the 3 drivers in the group for the 07 are Nick Smith, Dylan Young, and Chloe Reiner. Nick Smith has been in this ride at least 5 times. Chloe Reiner, I know, has gotten once, and I think Dylan Young's gotten once. But Nick Smith has definitely been the most consistent of those 3 drivers, and he has definitely been doing pretty well in the 07. He's come close. He actually did pretty well, I should say, in the one race that he was in, which I believe was Auto Club about a month ago. Already, that was a month ago. You know, even though we got all this crap going on right now, at least time is still going by really quickly, so that's a good thing. Well, we're glad you're here, glad to give you some entertainment, take your mind off all that's going on right now, and keeping everyone safe as well, because this is a virtual game. don't have to worry about spreading any diseases online. Any physical diseases, at least. Clark McKee with the fastest time. If he advances on, it will be his first ever start in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series after he won his first ever race on Napa Fan in the Homestead race in the Turkey Hill Series last week. And Josh King, I don't think he's going to have enough time to get back across the line here before the clock runs out. So odds are it's going to be Clark McKee and Nick Smith advancing onto the Interstate Batteries 500 from Texas. Only unless the 55 of Edwin Mendez finds a draft. Of course, the tire wear is still significant here at a place like Texas. It's a worn-out surface, an old racetrack, so tire wear will also come into play in tomorrow's race, and even in the Turkey Hill Series race later on today, and that's going to do it right there. That's how they line up. Top two advance on. It's Clark McKee and Nick Smith will be racing in tomorrow's Interstate Batteries 500. They're going to join the other 40 full-time drivers in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series to qualify for the pole position from Texas. Let's go ahead and see who gets that pole position and see how they line up for tomorrow's 67-lap event. And here we go. We're ready to set the starting lineup for tomorrow's Interstate Batteries 500 from Texas, 67 laps. And we got our co-commentator in with us now, Josh Williamson, who is a native of Texas. It's your home racetrack. What do you love about this racetrack so much? I mean, it's a great place. Obviously, we love it. We use the original version. But what do you think is going to be the best thing we see out of tomorrow's race?
And we're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing throughout the event, especially towards the latter parts of the race. Watch for these guys to be side-by-side battling all the way to the finish. It should be exciting. We got a lot of really competitive drivers, a lot of really competitive cars here. Should be a really exciting race.
And it usually is every single year, and one thing that I mentioned in uncharted qualifying is that we never know when a caution could happen. We could theoretically go caution-free in this race, but I don't think that's going to happen. It usually doesn't. But wrecks, they can happen at any time, even when the field is spread out. It's just as likely to have a wreck when the field is spread out as it is when they're all bunched up. So anything's going to be possible, but we'll have to see who gets the best starting position here for tomorrow's 67-lap event. Brad Stover, the first driver out there. Of course, we went under 27 seconds in uncharted qualifying. I would imagine we're going to do that here as well. Yeah, Mark Davidson coming out on the racetrack there as well. There's Clark McKee, who advanced on through uncharted qualifying, and he set one of those times under 27 seconds.
Staying glued to the low side there through the corners. I like that. He should have a really good lap when he comes around.
There's drafting does come into play here as well. It's such a fast racetrack. One of the fastest mile-and-a-half racetracks we have. Here's another Texas native, Cameron Garlington. We have not talked about Garlington that much at all this season. As a matter of fact, I believe he comes into this race last in the full-time points. It has been a tough ride for this team so far, and Garlington's return. He's second fastest right now. LJ Semedo just went to the top of the board in the 66 machine. Of course, his teammate Alexander Rose won twice already this year. Won the 500 and then went on to win Phoenix. But Semedo has not had a bad season either. North State Racing definitely looking very strong this season. And Davey Johnson's got a lot to be proud of with his two drivers here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series.
He's closing in here on the 06 of Tristan Allen. Looks like he's going to make a move to the inside of him. Allen pulls ahead, or the 66 backed off, one or another. They might try the draft, what you talked about, might get some faster laps here. We got another slow car in front of them.
Matt Dahlia getting up to speed in the 75. First, Dahlia won the Smooth Fest earlier this year. Since then, it hasn't been anything different for him. It's been a tough career the past few seasons for Matt Dahlia. Of course, he won in Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, did not even win a race on Napa Fan until Indianapolis last year, which was the penultimate race of Season number 8. But he's definitely bounced back. He's doing pretty good this season. Not as strong as he would like. Of course, not in his championship form like he was back in Season 4, but he's still... Everyone is still, theoretically, in this championship fight. Even Cameron Garlington, who's last in the points, but who's currently fastest. Been drafting off of Nathan Faden right there, and a really good run for Garlington. We have not seen this type of speed out of the 34 yet this season, but they are definitely showing something here at Texas, and Garlington would love to finally go back to victory lane on Napa Fan, but another Texas native is going to take that away from him. That's John Arndt in the 05. And then Dale Lightning goes to the top of the board, Garlington's teammate. And Lightning has also had a struggling season. American Motorsports as a whole has struggled this year, at least in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. But Lightning going to the top of the board in the 38 with John Arndt, Andrew Miller, Thomas Troxel in the ride that won this race last year, and Salmon Oskin rounding out the top 5 halfway through qualifying here at the Texas Motor Speedway.
Off into turn 1, we look like we got another side-by-side just up front there. That might hurt their lap times. Hopefully not, though. We see centered on the 75, Matt Dalio going down the back straightaway.
Dalio just went to second, knocking off John Arndt from the second position from the outside pole. Garlington has now fallen outside the top 10. Garlington now 12th. And most everyone under 27 seconds. Of course, you have so many more race cars on the racetrack in this qualifying session. Nearly everybody is getting a draft, and that definitely plays an effect on how well of a lap you get. Our last winner was Iquan Haslam in the 64. It was his first career Napa fan win. And currently on the leaderboard, Haslam is in the 35th position. Not exactly where you want to be, but remember, he did actually move his way through the field in that Homestead race last weekend, in that caution-free race that we had at Homestead, and definitely showed a lot of strength in that 64 for Anderson Racing, getting that team their first win in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series.
Yeah, definitely showed a lot of speed in the last race, and that was at 1.5 miles, and here we are at another 1.5 miles in Fort Worth, Texas. He might be able to show some speed here. I know it's not exactly the same configuration, but who knows, he might have a chance to get up to the front and win something.
And of course, I will say, Texas is a much different racetrack than Homestead, especially considering we use the original Texas. That inside lane is going to be dominant early on, but tire is also going to come into play here a lot more than it did at Homestead as well. A much worn out surface here at this racetrack than we have down in Florida, so it's going to be an interesting race. We're going to have a race in the Turkey Hill Series in less than an hour over on Napa Fan, so you're going to get a taste of what tomorrow's race is going to be like if you check that one out at 6 p.m. But Matt Dalio, second fastest. Dale Lightning still the fastest driver in the number 38 machine. Then it's John Arndt, Andrew Miller, Thomas Troxel, Salmon Oskin, Eli Bright, Bradley Ream, Ryan Durrani, and Diego Yepes. That's the top 10. We have a couple of rookies there. Actually, 4 rookies, I should say. 5 rookies, excuse me. 5 rookies inside the top 5. So it's an even split between rookies and veterans, but I don't think where you start's going to matter as much in this race as it does at other places, because it's such a long race, and drivers cycle through the field pretty quickly here at Texas if they know how to do it on that inside lane. And we got a lot of great drivers in this field who know how to race here. I mean, Fitzwater's won this exact race twice in his career. So we know that he's going to have a shot. All these guys are going to have a shot regardless of where they start, just because of longevity of this race tomorrow.
Absolutely. Look for them to do really well and get up to the front in this race tomorrow. Still seeing a lot of speed from the 75. Maybe he's going to get slowed up by the 16, Nathan Baird, coming back out onto the track from pit road. They're just about even off of turn 4. We'll see what lap times look like. Didn't better his lap.
Somebody did. Actually, that was Kukulon in the 13. Went all the way up to second. Right behind all of that. So that's going to pop Dalio outside the front row, and Kukulon with a very solid time in the number 13 machine. Of course, Titan Fury Motorsports, they've been the owner's champion in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series the past 2 seasons. Of course, they got Trey Barta, Brad Stover, Sebastian Kukulon. All of those drivers have won championships on Napa Fan before. So they all know what they're doing. As a matter of fact, both Kukulon and Barto have won championships in the Turkey Hill Series. So they have a solid group of drivers on that team, and no surprise to see Kukulon move himself up into that position. Nathan Stapleton also moved up in the 97 up to 7th for NS Racing. Great run for Stapleton.
Absolutely. Good to see these guys having speed so far. Don't know if it'll necessarily carry over into the race, but a lot of people drafting right now. See the 35, Thomas Troxel, and the 83 of Samadowskin there, just in front of them. The 28 of Alonso down the back straightaway. They've got a 3-car draft, make it 4
We had
One of the
contact
cars,
right
almost
there.
a collision there. 33 car. That was Eli Bright and the...
We had Josh King blow an engine. I don't think we've had any of that here, but no matter what happens in the qualifying session, your time will stand, regardless if you wreck it or not. But with the tire wear, these guys, after a few laps, the tire wear gets to them, and they're not going to be running as fast as they are at the beginning of the session. So I believe that the times we see up there on the leaderboard will stand. Dale Lightning with the fastest time here in Interstate Batteries 500 qualifying, and only unless someone who came down the pit lane, got fresh tires, went back out there, I think we're going to be seeing Dale Lightning lead the field of the green flag in tomorrow's Interstate Batteries 500. All but 3 drivers under 27 seconds. Sam Adio, Stover, and Stover almost won this race in Season 7, and then Nick Smith there in the 07. None of those drivers got under 27 seconds, but you see the top 10 right there. Lightning, Kukulon, Dalio, Arndt, Miller, Troxel, Stapleton, Oskin, Bright, and Ream, the top 10. But odds are we're going to have a much different top 10 in the finishing order for tomorrow's race.
Kukulon's actually picking up a little bit of speed. He gained 2 1/1000ths of a second that lap. I know it's not much, but he is finding a little bit more speed in that 13. See if he makes it all the way around. This time he could have a shot at dethroning Lightning in the 38 for the pole here. He is all by himself right now, but he can sniff a little bit of draft in front of him if he gets a little closer. There's a couple of cars side by side there. One of them, I believe, that is Lightning on the outside. It is with the 15 Shane Lake. Just see what happens here as they go into turn 1.
Doesn't look like he advanced right there, but that definitely shows a lot of strength that on number 13 machine. He was able to advance his time on slightly worn tires, so that might be a good sign for this 13 team in tomorrow's race, but nonetheless, it will be Dale Lightning who will lead the field of the green flag in tomorrow's Interstate Batteries 500 from Texas. As you take a look at the official standings, Lightning, Kukulon, Dalio, Arndt, Miller, Troxel, Stapleton, Oskin, Bright, and Ream, the top 10. Take a look at the rest of the results right there. We have a couple of ties. I believe we got one tie between Fisher G and Silas Orta. Have to break that. I'm not entirely sure who has the advantage in that one. And then Iquan Haslam and Nathan Baird. I'm pretty sure Baird has it on the 64, so most likely Baird will start ahead of Haslam in tomorrow's race. But other than that, we're looking forward to having you join us for tomorrow's race, and even having you join us in less than an hour for the Turkey Hill Series race from Texas. Gonna have some good stuff here this weekend in the NOFSRL, and I hope you can take your mind off everything and have a little fun here with the racing in the Turkey Hill Series, Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and New Era Cup Series. So have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Congratulations to Dale Lightning for winning the pole, and we will see you guys tomorrow at noon Eastern Time on NapaFam for the Interstate Batteries 500. I will see you guys later.